There is a new curator here at the WACA, Scott Hamilton, who's taken over from John Maley. And I do believe Roy Abbott had a bit of a hand in preparing this wicket. They do have problems here at the WACA with the square. It seems to not be retaining the moisture that it should do. Maybe too much drainage underneath, I don't know. But there's been problems all summer.
Loud appeal at Peter McConnell, the West Australian umpire, not in the least bit interested. It's the end of the over here at the WACA ground, because umpire Peter McConnell has run from the southern end to the northern end of the ground to speak to the sight screen attendant. I think when he was down behind the wicket, he might have spotted there was some light flashing on a car windscreen between the stands, or something's reflecting and hitting him in the eye. And he's asked the attendant to look after it, see the cars parked there. Quite often, yes, it is one of the cars. Quite often you can get a reflection off a window. But play resumes now. So perhaps it's not going to be quite enough. But who knows, the way this game has swung this way and that right throughout the 3 days, anything could happen. The point is, it is still very much alive. One run to wood. That brings the young Mullalay, the 18-year-old, on to strike.
Field comes in, and Alan Mullalay has got 2 balls to keep out here.
Survives one. Survives 2. The end of the over. West Australia 9 for 341. Of 52 runs, as Botham bowls to Wood. I don't think early in this over Woody's going to be interested in anything but 2s and 4s. He doesn't want to expose Mullalay again to the terror of the British Lion.
The ideal situation is for Graham Wood to sit on Botham here, hopefully pick up 2 or a 4 along the way and get a single or a 3 off the last ball of the over.
And of course, Botham doesn't know that.
Time is important here also for Western Australia. The longer they can stay at the crease, the harder it's going to be for Queensland to win.
In fact, Bruce Wood acknowledged yesterday that Western Australia to really have a chance in this game would have to bat out the 3rd day. In actual fact, they've handed Queensland a session on the plate.
We don't know that yet. We don't know how good this young Mullalay is.
We've got a pretty good idea, though.
Hit the last 2 he faced in the middle of the bat.
And that's just a single, and so Mullalay is exposed. In comes the field, on goes the pressure. Wood 141 not out. Mullalay yet to score 27 sundries, 9 for 342, a lead to Western Australia of 53 runs. Every run now absolutely vital.
Ian Botham knows now that he's got 2 deliveries left in this over to knock over this young bloke.
And the crowd loving every ball that Mullalay survives. The last ball of Botham's over coming up. Botham at this stage of the West Australian innings is wicketless. None for 64.
Two slips, first and second, and a 4th slip in actual fact in the gully.
And he scored. That'll be 2 runs. He slipped, but he'll get the 2 runs, so he acknowledges the plaudits of the crowd. Mullalay is 2. The end of the over. West Australia 9 for 344.
This can be a very, very frustrating period for the fielding side if they don't get a breakthrough. There's nothing more upsetting than seeing this situation go on and on and on. Graham Wood will be hoping that it will.
That's right, because every single run that West Australia gets now is vital. They have a lead of 55. So the West Australian tail certainly did not wag. After Andrews went, he was out for 71. Then Zura went for a duck. Matthews for 2. Alderman for a duck. So you take out that magnificent partnership of Wood and Andrews, and the West Australian innings looks just a little bit paltry.
Thing is, Bruce, you can't take it out. It's there, they're on the board.
Rather pleased about that too from a West Australian point of view, but it has been a remarkable match. One, as I say, which is still very much on the bubble. Now Wood is looking around very carefully. He wants to get to single if he can off this ball. He's got it. He goes for a sharp run, hits, and it's out. McDermott completes the run out. The West Australian innings closes at 344. A lead of 55 runs to Western Australia. Graham Wood run out for 141, and the crowd rises as one to applaud this magnificent innings by the West Australian captain. Wood run out for 141. Western Australia all out for 344. A brilliant innings to Graham Wood. West Australia lead by just 55 runs with 7 sessions of play remaining. What a tense game this has developed into. Players leave the field and the crowd is right up on tippy toes with them. Mullalay remaining not out 2. Letter out for 23, Marsh out for 41, Brayshaw for 24, Hughes for 11, McLeay 2, Andrews 71, Zura a duck, Matthews 2, Alderman a duck, Wood 140, Mullalay remained 2 not out. West Australia all out for 344 in reply to Queensland's first innings of 289. So Western Australia have a lead of just 55 runs.
Very shortly there will be a presentation on the field to Mr. Alan Mullalay.
There we see it. So this once again is going to be a very interesting session of play. In fact, every session of this Shield final has been packed full of incident and interest. And here we are once again on the knife edge. Can Queensland dig themselves out of the hole? Or can Western Australia capitalise on the situation that they've created now? 4 for 58.
There's no question the key to the game for Queensland is Botham. He's the only man that I see can score runs quickly enough for Queensland to put them in a match-winning or a potential match-winning situation. I'm not sure Richie's batting well enough. I'm not sure that Botham is either, but Botham, we all know, has the ability to rip any attack apart. So an enormous amount of pressure resting on him.
When they look back at this match, they'll remember a number of great performances. One of them by this young fellow, Chris Matthews. 8 for 101 in the Queensland first innings off 32.5 overs. They'll also remember the magnificent captain's knock of 141 by Graham Wood, aided and abetted by a punishing 71 from Wayne Andrews. And then a lion-hearted bowling performance by Carl Rackerman, 5 for 69. So it has been a match full of grand performances. At the end of the over, Alderman to take the second over of the day. And it's a big welcome to all viewers through Sky Channel around Australia. Coming to us live at the WACA ground for the first session of play on the fourth day of the Shield final between West Australia and Queensland. And after 4 days, Western Australia holding the whip hand. These two batsmen at the crease now are going to be doing their darndest to wrest that whip hand away from the home side. Alderman comes in to Botham. Botham's on 3. It's not out, says umpire Peter McConnell. Very confident appeal from all West Australians.
And what saved Botham was the fact that he was down the wicket. And Terry Alderman must be a bit unnerved here. I wonder if he can remember way back to Leeds 1981 when Ian Botham blasted 149 off Australia in very rapid time to turn a game, an impossible game, England's way. Don't think this is going to be a particularly easy wicket to score off. The ball's keeping fairly low. If the ball was bouncing, it makes it a lot easier to play shots all around the wicket. But we're seeing it only just get above stump height on most occasions.
Terry Alderman's figures for the second innings: 2 for 18 off 10.3. In fact, he was the unlucky bowler in the Queensland first innings. He bowled magnificently and went relatively unrewarded. But now he's picking up where he left off in this second innings. Already has 2 wickets. A great performance by Terry Alderman. Well, Botham's all at sea in this over. He's only got bat to the ball on 1 occasion. It's wrapped him on the pads twice, and that beat him all ends up.
Lovely delivery from Alderman. And that one came back in a bit, in between the gap. I wonder when Botham is going to give up the idea of defending and look to hit the ball over the top. I don't think it's that far away.
It's the end of Alderman's over. Another maiden. Score remains as it was overnight, 4 for 58. Chris Matthews from the Northern or members end, bowling to Greg Ritchie, who's on 17, his overnight score. 2 slips a gully, a man at cover and a man at mid off, and 4 men on the on. The onside, a mid on, a mid wicket, a backward square and a fine leg.
I'm a bit surprised that Wood has opted to have the 4 men on the onside. I would have thought that he'd be better employed having an extra slip. Then again, he realises that Queensland must make the play, and if he can prevent them scoring, then it's going to come to a time where they just have to do something silly. They've got to score runs. And so maybe by drying them up, preventing them from getting the easy run, he's going to put that added pressure on the batsman and force them into making a stroke that normally wouldn't be on.
Matthews in his 11th over. He has 1 for 15. Ritchie, who made 33 in the first innings, was very good in the outfield for Queensland. Moved very sprightly despite his corpulent frame. One incident in which he did come unglued was when he hit the fence just as he was about to catch Graham Wood right on the boundary. There's the first runs of the morning. They'll get an easy 2. So Ritchie moves on to 19 and the score to 60 for 4. This is the catch we were talking about off Graham Wood. Ritchie gets well in position, backs up, he's got his eye on the ball the whole time. Now just as it hits the hands, he hits the fence, spills it over, 6 runs. There it is again from the reverse angle. Just watch it as it hits the hands, he hits the fence. Well, show you that again as Ritchie this time out through the covers. We've got 2, they'll go for 3 on the arm quite easily. Wayne Andrews the fieldsman, so that's another 3 to Ritchie. It's the end of the over. Queensland 4 for 63. Greg Ritchie with that 3 retains the strike and he'll be facing Terry Alderman. That beat the man at mid-wicket. Kim Hughes is giving chase. They'll get another 3, a comfortable 3 to Ritchie. They're thinking of running 4. They decide against it. I'll just show you that missed catch off Graham Wood once again. We had to come back. There it is, into the fence. It's the fact that he was keeping his eyes on the ball. He didn't know the relativity of the fence. Bang. Bad luck, Greg Ritchie. You're doing it so well, everything right. And lucky for Graham Wood, who went on to make 141. And Ritchie's doing everything right this morning too. Picking up runs nicely. He has moved on to 25. Ian Botham has yet to add to his overnight score of 3. Oh, that's through the gap. Beautifully timed by Botham, straight to the fence. Now, this could be the sign of things to come.
Botham crashed that ball. It was over-pitched, and you would hardly call it a gentle stroke. Unleashed an off-drive. And Botham's been waiting for that ball from Alderman to be a little over-pitched. Alderman's bowled beautifully to Botham this morning. That's what the crowd and Queensland are expecting from Botham.
Botham, that single moves on to 8, bringing Ritchie on to strike. He's 25.
One of the things about Botham and Ritchie is that both players can hit the ball to the boundary. And often, a lot of players need to get the bulk of their runs with 2s and 3s and singles, but not so particularly Botham, who has the power to hit any ball to the boundary.
The end of Alderman's over. Queensland 4 for 71. Has the ball in hand. He's at the back, top of his mark. He'll be bowling to Botham. Again, it's the 5-4 field. 4 men on the on. Short, hooked, in the air, but safely. Not well timed, Ian Botham. Just the 2 runs.
I think Botham actually took his eye off that at the last moment. He was pretty lucky to connect there. It was a good bouncer from Matthews in the perfect spot to force a catch. Excellent piece of bowling from Matthews. And I feel sure that Matthews will try that again.
Well, that's how they trapped Alan Border. He went for a little chip pull shot and mistimed it and cued it straight out to Michael Valletta at backward square.
You've got to look at the psychology of the whole thing. Botham considers it an affront to leave the bouncer alone. So if it's bowled to him, there's an excellent chance that he's going to try the hook shot. The hook shot is a dangerous one. There are fieldsmen at fine leg, square leg and mid-wicket. And at mid-on. And it's the mistimed hook that they're looking for, not the one he hits in the middle. If that goes for 4 or 6, well, that's fine. The one that goes in the air, that's where they're positioned to take that catch.
Richie is on 25. Botham has moved up to 10. So both have added 7 runs to their overnight scores. Richie, in fact, has added 8. Going to be a very tense morning's play. Big single to end the over. Richie on to 26, and the total 4 for 75 at the after the break. Mick Malone will be joined by Rod Marsh.
Terry Alderman to continue to Greg Ritchie. Ritchie 26. Runs. Hughes was late to pick that up. It was wide of him. Matthews is labouring, so there'll be at least 3. And good morning, Rod Marsh.
Good morning, Mick. Good morning, everyone. A far more positive attitude by the Queenslanders this morning. Western Australia making the mistake of bowling a line too much towards the pads, particularly of Ritchie. Overall lead of 23. One gets the feeling that it could be a long, hard day if Botham and Ritchie get going. Temperature climbing all the time. There's nothing the Western Australian side would like more than to see the back of these two.
Rod, you played in the game that I mentioned earlier at Leeds when Botham went crazy and belted that 149. How was the lead up to that? Did it just explode all of a sudden, or?
Only when he walked to the wicket. It's virtually from the first ball he went crash bang and we were helpless.
Bit like that.
Exactly. Beautiful cut shot from Botham. I think we made the mistake of bowling far too short to Botham on that occasion, as Terry Alderman has done so here. He hit many, many cut shots in that innings of 149, and although that's not a regulation cut, still a mighty fine shot. He chanced his arm, and I think he's a far more dangerous player when he is playing his shots. If he just tries to bat like a regular batsman, I think you've always got a big chance with him.
Now that's the perfect length from Terry Alderman. Beautiful delivery. So Alderman's learned a bit, and that one deviated off the wicket. Now that was just too good.
I think a little bit of assistance from the wicket on that occasion. It's definitely hit a crack, and a big leg cutter. It's the end of the over from Terry Alderman. Queensland 4 for 82.
This is a lovely photograph of you, Dr. Burnett.
82. And Chris Matthews to Greg Ritchie. If I can just hark back to that innings in England, when did you realise you'd lost control?
I think the real problem there was that Graham Dilley played an absolute blinder at the other end. He got 50, and I think it's his only Test match 50. And I think we lost control when Botham wasn't trying to protect him from the strike, because he realised that Dilly was batting so well that he wasn't going to get out. I think that's half volleyed. Very close to being caught at second slip by Ken McLay, but just landing in front.
In some ways, this is good news for the Queenslanders, because if the ball's not carrying, it lessens their chances of getting caught in the slips. On the other hand, they've got to bowl WA out if they're to win this game. But I think there won't be a lot of caught behinds if that's the case. A lot of LBWs and bowls.
Beautiful shot from Richie. 4 runs. Greg Ritchie hit the last ball for 4, but the previous delivery went within an ace of being caught at second slip by Ken McLay. And I think it's pretty obvious. There was no doubt that that one bounced.
Very forgettable shot as far as Greg Ritchie's concerned. This is a shocker.
These cracks on the wicket have opened up for sure today. It's the second one in 2 overs we've seen hit a crack and deviate. A lead of 150 could be very dangerous for Western Australia.
And I wonder if there's a bit of psychology there being used by Greg Ritchie. Whether they're there or not, Greg Ritchie will be happy to say they are, because WA have to bat last.
Takes off for a single. Brayshaw does the fielding. The end of the over. Queensland on the Devils number in cricket, 4 for 87. Greg Ritchie on 34. Ian Botham on 14. It's been a morning of good shot play already, but not without incident, as Alderman continues to Ritchie. No ball called. So that gets them off 87. I think the Western Australian bowlers have tried to blast out these 2 batsmen this morning. When I say blast out, not by bowling bouncers, but tried to actually bowl them out. Last night, towards the end of the day, they maintained a perfect line and length, and both Ritchie and Botham had great difficulty in getting them away. I think that's the way they've got to bowl to them this morning. Well, there's a big shout. That's out. Let the ball go. Come back off the wicket. Ritchie, without offering a shot, out LBW to Alderman for 34.
Well, how could Greg Ritchie let that one go? It was fraught with danger.
Well, that's hit another crack, the same one that the ball deviated the other way to Botham last over, and Ritchie trapped in front without offering a shot. So Queensland now struggling with a lead of just 33 with 5 second wickets innings in hand. And what was this business, Mick, about 5 second wickets innings? I think I went off with.
Well, for those of us that know you, Rodney, the message was clear.
The message was pretty clear for umpire McConnell as well. And this one from Alderman to Ritchie hits the crack, comes back a country mile, and Ritchie offering no shot. Had he played a shot, I've got the feeling he may not have been given out, because that ball did an awful lot off the wicket. Outside edge gets Holmes off the mark. They'll get an easy 3 here.
Now let's have a look at this ball that got Ritchie. Watch it hit the crack. You can see the crack on the wicket. It's an amazing piece of camera work. Actually hits that crack, and Ritchie was expecting that to pass well outside off stump.
Got the feeling Botham wants to get on with this game. He's not prepared to let another one hit the crack and offer no shot as Greg Ritchie did. I think he's decided after seeing that delivery, dismiss Ritchie, that he's going on the attack. And I believe this is a very good move if he's decided to do that. The end of a good over from Terry Alderman. Queensland 5 for 91. 1 for 28, and Ken McClay 1 for 24. The not-out batsman, Botham on 14 and Holmes 3. Holmes will be on strike to Chris Matthews. Alan Mullalay.
Matthews will continue to Ian Botham, and Botham showed signs in that last over of making a decision about how he's going to play for the rest of this innings. Rapidly running out of partners. I think we can expect to see him explode at any time.
Well, it's another fine ball from Chris Matthews.
Excellent delivery from Matthews.
Botham just checking his guard. That's the English way of doing it, showing the full face of the bat, and the umpire is supposed to line up the middle of the bat with the guard that is required, whether it be middle and leg or leg stump or middle stump. Most Australian batsmen turn the bat on its side. I've never quite been able to work out why the Australians turn the bat on its side and the Englishmen show the full face of the bat. It's got me beat. Mick, any ideas?
Can't throw any light on that at all, Rod.
The same thing applies to buckling your pads. Almost everyone I ever played with in Australia buckled their pads on the inside, because we were told as kids that if the buckles are on the outside of the pad, you might get a flick down leg side and the umpire might think you've been caught out. Well, there are no buckles on those pads there. They're the Velcro stick-on types. But the Englishmen always buckle on the outside to save wearing their pads on the inside. When I say wearing them, damaging them. The end of a good over from Chris Matthews. Queensland 5 for 92. Terry Alderman with the figures of 3 for 37. Went wicketless in the first innings. With Queensland at 5 for 92, he's got an excellent chance of getting a big haul here in the second innings. 2 slips and 2 gullies for Trevor Hones.